What's up, guys? Jades Corner back here again for yet another episode of my Fantasy Fight series. This is episode 20, I'm pretty sure. So if you guys have been enjoying these videos, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Also turn on post notifications so that you're notified when I post a new Fantasy Fights video every single week. Also, before we get into the video, about 79% of you guys who watch these aren't subscribed. So if you've been enjoying the Fantasy Fights matchups and you keep coming back for more, do what I said before I got into this portion of the intro. And without further ado, in today's matchup, we have Niklaus Mikaelson from the Vampire Diaries and the originals going up against the almighty Lucifer from Supernatural. Who's coming out on top? Let's find out. So we're going to start with Lucifer. Lucifer, also known as Satan and the Devil, is the main antagonist of the Supernatural franchise alongside his father, God. He is the ruler of hell, the true ruler of hell. He is a corrupter of mankind, and he is the father and creator of the demon species. Lucifer's powers include nigh omnipotence. Lucifer, being the second archangel, is unimaginably powerful, quite possibly the second most powerful being ever created by God, slightly surpassed only by Michael amongst angels, and far more powerful than not only lesser angels but other beings that are also considerably more powerful than his younger archangel siblings. Although inferior to Michael, Lucifer is by no means incapable of battling Michael, as he can hold his own enough that a battle between the two strongest archangels would devastate and even destroy the entire earth. Even while not in his perfect vessel, he can still effortlessly, slay very ancient pagans and casually overpower Gabriel, who is another archangel, nearly killing him. The immensity of his power was shown by how any vessel not his true one would quickly decay, and even by consuming tons of demon blood, it would only decay the inevitable destruction of his vessel for a certain amount of time. Zachariah, a fellow angel, described Lucifer's power as being vast in ways that defied description, which is absolutely insane. In season 10 of Supernatural, it was revealed that Lucifer once possessed the mark of Cain after contributing to the defeat of the darkness alongside God, with the mark augmenting his powers, making him even stronger than he already was. It can be assumed at the time that he was the most powerful angel in existence. Holy fire and Enochian sigils are proven to be ineffective against him, whereas it could affect his younger archangel brethren, as while he could briefly be contained by it, he was able to fairly quickly break out. While he could do nothing to escape the cage, he was capable of projecting himself to a limited extent, and after the cage was damaged, he was powerful enough to physically reach out to Sam while holding enough power to restrain the darkness alongside his fellow archangels to allow God to overpower her, and having managed to conceal himself from her. Mind you, the darkness is God's sister in Supernatural, so she is a top tier being as well, being a primordial extra-dimensional entity. Lucifer has also been proven to be powerless against his aunt, despite his claims of being able to defeat the darkness, which is true. He got absolutely bodied by her numerous times on the show, which has already been easily conceivable to be a lie. It took his father, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, who are also archangels, and his brothers alongside himself to beat her, and therefore Lucifer is significantly weaker than her. Even with the hand of God, Lucifer was was not even able to harm Amara, which is the darkness's true name, and he was soundly defeated and rendered powerless as she heavily tortured him. And God has also proven his superiority to Lucifer by completely negating his powers effortlessly, and it has already been implied by Castiel that God could easily defeat him at whim when he stated that if God were helping them, they would not need to devastate the earth to win the apocalypse. Even while weakened by having most of his grace depleted, he was still powerful enough to break out of a particularly powerful warding and easily overpower lesser tier demons and angels, as he claimed that Duma, who was a fellow angel, and her henchmen could not defeat him, and he later soundly overwhelmed Anael, who was another angel in the series. Even the seraphim Castiel was unable to defeat him when he was weakened even further and had no escape. After regaining a lot of his power, he was able to exorcise demons and obliterate humans with the snap of his fingers, which is absolutely insane. And despite being weakened due to having his grace used as a source, he was able to break out of a powerful binding spell eventually. After fully recovering his powers, Lucifer has once again become able to easily resurrect Sam, obliterate angels with relative ease, and knock Michael off of his feet. And with his son's grace supercharging him, Lucifer becomes much stronger than ever, to the point that he is deemed capable of ending and recreating the entire universe, which is an entirely different level of power within itself, within a matter of days. And the alternate Michael's full power proved to be incapable of overpowering him, whereas previously he was soundly beaten, requiring outside intervention to kill him. So yeah, Lucifer is ridiculous. He has immortality. Lucifer has an indefinite long lifespan. He has existed for millions, if not billions of years. Time does not degrade his form. Like with all celestial beings and supernatural, he's unaffected by diseases and toxins. He cannot tire. This does not require food, water, oxygen, or sleep. On one occasion, Cash clearly says about killing Lucifer, "It's foolish, it can't be done," and later calls the task insane. However, an archangel blade can kill him, as can God or Michael, or the darkness as well. He also has angelic possession. Even Lucifer is required to use a vessel once he's on Earth, as Zechariah emphasizes, and he needs the vessel's permission, like with all angels and supernatural, because of the immensity of his power. He must use a vessel descended from Cain and Abel, or it will begin to decay, such as Sam Winchester or Dean Winchester, Sam Winchester being Lucifer's true vessel. And he has invulnerability as well. Lucifer is impervious to all damage except when harmed by his archangel brethren, penetrated with an archangel blade, or by God. Kali, the most powerful of the pagan gods at the gathering of the pagan gods in season 5, tried to harm him with a pyrokinetic attack, but it had no effect, and Lucifer simply smiled at her and attempted to harm him. The cult, which can kill everything in existence except 5 things, Lucifer being one of those 5 things it can't kill, somehow caused him initial pain, but he soon recovered. It should be noted that this temporary vessel was decaying at the time, which was Nick, with Sam as his vessel. My fault. Lucifer is much more powerful, and is probable he'd be completely impervious to the cult. He also has cosmic awareness. Lucifer has immense awareness of everything. He knows spells capable of binding the horsemen to him, but he, according to Chuck, didn't know about the Impala, which is weird. And he has superhuman strength. Lucifer has slaughtered pagan deities with his bare hands, as seen in the episode Hammer of the Gods. As Gabriel predicted, it became a bloodbath. Lucifer went on a rampage in which he brutally ripped the other pagan gods to shreds, beating them to death and tearing their limbs off through sheer force alone. He was able to knock out the powerful pagan god Kali with one punch. As the second oldest archangel, he's significantly stronger than other angels. He once effortlessly threw Dean, and later literally beat him to a bloody pulp, nearly killing him in Swan Song. Chuck indicated that Dean only survived because Castiel healed him. He was also able to casually overpower his younger brother Gabriel. Lucifer also possesses regeneration. If Lucifer's vessel receives any damage, the wound will heal instantaneously. When shot with the Colt, for example, the bullet hole healed within under a minute. Interestingly, The ability does not reverse the decay caused to Nick, which is Lucifer's best known vessel by Lucifer's power. He has shape-shifting. Interestingly, Lucifer could change his form when outside of a vessel. He's the only archangel to have done so, although within a vessel, Lucifer can change his shape into any person he wants, like Gabriel. Lucifer also took the form of a reaper to lure Castiel away. He has teleportation. Lucifer can travel anywhere he wants instantly without occupying the space in between. He has telekinesis. Lucifer could also impart kinetic energy on matter with his mind. He was extremely proficient with this ability, being able to rip pagan deities apart using this telekinesis. He also has dream walking, which is not important to this fight. He also has cryokinesis. Lucifer can manipulate and generate cold energy. He froze a pane of glass by merely breathing on it, which is also ridiculous. He has supernatural perception. Lucifer can perceive the form of beings invisible to the human eye. Lucifer was able to see the true form of death when he raised the horseman out of his prison, which was ridiculous as well. He has aerokinesis. When Lucifer was released, he altered the weather by creating several winds. He has molecular combustion. Lucifer killed Castiel by speeding up his molecules to the point where it caused him to explode simply by snapping his fingers. He has exokinesis, although never displayed. Lucifer reminded Gabriel that he taught him everything he knew about using his power when the latter tried to use it to kill him. He has spell casting. He's able to bind the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse to his presence with a spell, which is crazy as well because they're all powerful in their own right. He has resurrection. Lucifer can easily reanimate the dead and bring people back to life if he chooses to do so. He is also said to bring back angels that have died as well, which is crazy. He has telekinesis. Lucifer could generate earthquakes with ease. He has precognition. Lucifer could see the future, but this power is not useful for this fight as well, so I'm going to leave it out. And Lucifer's weaknesses include archangel blades, higher tier beings such as God, the darkness, his older brother Michael, and his son Jack, who is a Nephilim, a hybrid of an angel and a human, or archangel in this case. He is weak to the lance of Michael, angel sigils, angel blades, Enochian brass knuckles, the cult, although the cult is not fatal to him because he's one of the 5 beings in existence within supernatural that the cult cannot kill. And he is also weak to holy oil, the hand of God, and having his grace removed. So now that Lucifer is out the way, we're going to get to Niklaus Mikaelson, who I talked about a few times in the fantasy fights as well. Niklaus Mikaelson is the anti-hero and antagonist of the Vampire Diaries and the main protagonist and sometimes antagonist / anti-hero in the spin-off TV show The Originals, and he currently lives in New Orleans prior to his death. Now, Klaus, his powers include: as an original vampire, later the original hybrid, Klaus is the strongest of the original vampires despite not being the oldest. His werewolf side has given him additional powers that the others do not possess, making him the most powerful immortal supernatural being in the world. This is not true because Silas is more powerful than Klaus, I'd argue, but this is a video on Klaus and Lucifer, so we're going to keep that out. So we're going to keep this out of there. But although his maternal half-siblings and his stepfather have been able to fight him on almost even terms, however, this is not enough to defeat him. His powers improve with age, the consumption of human or vampire blood, assuming his werewolf form, or utilizing his lycanthropic enhancement, and the full moon. Sorry about that. In Live and Let Die, the episode, it is shown that Michael is slightly stronger than Klaus. However, it should be noted that Michael was still affected with werewolf venom and Klaus was not using his full powers. It is likely that if Michael had not been affected with werewolf venom at the time and Klaus used his full powers, he would most definitely overpower and defeat Michael without any difficulty whatsoever. Even before Klaus became an original vampire, later the original hybrid, he was a master swordsman, even though he rarely uses a sword. Due to his supernatural powers, Klaus's swordsman skills have not diminished. In the episode In Every Mother's Son, it has been hinted that Klaus's swordsmanship skills are superior to Michael's, and Klaus has been shown to be an expert fighter as well. Even when unharmed, when Marcel's entire army took him on, despite being overwhelmed to begin with, he was able to fight them and almost evenly overpower most of them through his fighting skills and original hybrid powers. In that single fight, he killed roughly 24 non-original vampires single-handedly, showing his skills as a combatant even further. Klaus is far less calm, composed, and strategic in battle than Elijah, Due to his long existence, Klaus has seen countless battles and is very experienced in battling as well. His supernatural attributes aside, Klaus's greatest asset is his sharp intellect. He is a genius level tactician. His penchant for strategies and forming contingency plans way ahead of time easily surpasses Elijah's by far, who is almost Klaus's intellectual equal. As Klaus has outsmarted Elijah on more than one occasion, Klaus is able to discern a great deal of whatever or whoever presented to him. After only a few keen observations, he was able to figure out that hope would be sacrificed at the cemetery because it was where the harvest and the reaping took place, as well as the location of the ancestral witch's burial place. He also came up with a plan to make it look like he has turned against his maternal half siblings and Haley after Elijah daggered him, and after Haley tried to take his daughter away from Hope in order to gain Dahlia's trust to make her down. According to Dahlia, Klaus is the most intelligent of his maternal half-siblings, and Klaus's weaknesses include the White Oak Stake, higher tier beings such as Silas, Dahlia, the Hollow, Marcel, and Lucien, and he is also weak a little bit to magic. So who's coming out on top in this fight? This is an easy stomp. It's not even a competition. This isn't even a fair fight. Lucifer destroys Klaus within seconds or a millisecond. All Lucifer really has to do is not even put any effort to kill Klaus, just really snap his fingers, make his molecules expand and control his molecular compound and explode Klaus from the inside out. Or if Lucifer is being an ass like he usually is, he could walk up to Klaus, touch his forehead, smite him, and instantly kill Lucifer. So Lucifer wins this fantasy fight by far, not even a question. Klaus stands absolutely no chance fighting this dude. Lucifer is a universal tier being, if not lower multiversal by far for sure. So if you guys enjoyed this fantasy fights video, make sure you leave a like. Also comment your thoughts on who would win, Lucifer or Klaus. If you say Klaus, I really want to know why, because Lucifer is just ridiculous in terms of his power and he's nigh omnipotent. So yeah, I would really like to know your thoughts if you do end up choosing Klaus. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so that you're notified when I post a new fantasy fights video every single week. Also, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I might have mentioned at the start of the video. Leave a like, please. Helps this video get out to way more Vampire Diaries and Supernatural fans, as well as Teen Wolf fans, and it helps this video do really well in the algorithm as well. And without further ado, I'm Jades Corner. Make sure you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity as always, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. See you in the next one.